thanks for watching another one of our videos. We are so excited to do this one today. It's gonna be a Thai mukbang style.
Yeah, so we're eating some Thai food today in honor of us telling you about this crazy classic.
Gosh dang it.
Start in. Yeah, so we're gonna tell you guys about a crazy adventure we had when we were backpacking in Thailand and about all kinds of things that happened to us on the way. We've got a pad Thai.
And then this is like a cashew tofu. Looks delicious.
And then we've got tom kha, of course, one of our staple favorites.
Classic. Ha! Mango sticky rice. If you guys watch our Universal Foods video, this is like my favorite.
Thai iced tea.
And fresh coconuts. Oh my gosh, was it good?
Oh, so good.
Oh my god, I was most excited for this. I can't believe that they actually sell this. This is just from like a local Thai restaurant in our small town, so.
It's called Our Thai House.
Yeah.
We're gonna dig in and get to telling you guys about our crazy adventure in Thailand. So we were in Phuket hanging out with my sister and a really good friend, and we wanted to jump over to the Phi Islands after getting a suggestion from another traveler. So we jumped on a ferry and headed to the Phi Islands.
We were so excited to get to the Phi Islands, and of course that's the first time on our whole trip that I had gotten really, really sick. And if you have ever gotten food poisoning in another country, you know it's no fun.
So the lady at the hotel actually offered to put Maya in a wheelbarrow and take her down to the hospital.
It wasn't a wheelbarrow, it was one of the hospital beds.
No, literally. That's how they got everything to and from the hotel. And so she was in a room, so she wouldn't know. But yeah, so...
yeah, I was out of it. I have no idea what happened.
So crazy stuff number one, she gets sick. Crazy stuff number two, we have to reschedule the next ferry, but we did end up in Krabi.
And then from Krabi, I was still sick for like the majority of the time. And then finally on like the last like day or two, we were able to leave the hotel and actually go explore, which was really cool. I know Jess had been there previously, so it was one of her favorite spots.
Yeah, so it's kind of a bummer. I actually have this little tattoo on my arm with the coordinates for Krabi, and that was an inspiration for me to get back there. It was super important and sort of an inspiration for all of my travels in the first place. So then we jumped on the longtail over to Anang. Maya was still a little bit sick, but we got to do some really cool stuff.
I was sick for way too long. We had decided to travel up the whole country, so we started in the very, very southern end in Phuket, and then we're gonna make our way all the way up to the very, very top of Thailand. And we didn't want to fly because we would just like to experience like the culture all throughout Thailand, which is a really cool experience. This food is so good, by the way. If you guys live in Spokane or if you guys are in the neighborhood, you guys have to try it.
Step number one, going from Anang to Chumphon. A van picks us up.
Which I think this ticket was like $11 US to get there, which is incredibly good.
Yeah, no kidding. One of the things that was crazy was all the components, all the working pieces, all the people that were involved in getting us from Anang to Chumphon. Like in total, there was probably at least 12 people that played a role in transporting us these what would be 3.5 hour drive away. 3-hour
drive ended up turning into a whole 10-hour just situation.
We're on this van with all these people, and we get dropped off at this kind of like open storefront thing, which is a counter, and it was like in an alley. 30 people crammed in this building, and everyone is trying to talk to these two people, and hardly anyone speaks Thai. And the Thai folks barely spoke any English, and it was absolutely insane.
Honestly, at that point, we weren't really worried. Like, there were so many other tourists there, like they're not gonna, just leave us, I don't think.
But the time kept ticking. So they had originally said 15 minutes and continued to tell us it was gonna be about 5 to 15 minutes. But it had been over an hour at that point. They kept refusing to let us go to the bathroom. But I noticed that the guys were going to the bathroom. So when they weren't looking, I went back. And it was the first time I ever had to go to the restroom on the floor, on the actual floor.
Oh yeah, I think I had to go, but I wasn't gonna go.
No, you didn't. You lasted forever.
So Jess is peeing on the ground. I'm just sitting outside in the heat, and heat like Thailand is just like nothing else you could imagine.
They finally pick us up, and we're on van 2. We went on to the next spot, and they drop us off again at a retail store. But finally, we're looking at our phones, and we realized, okay, we're at least in Chumphon. But we're really far from our hotel.
Really far. And Chumphon, like, apparently we were staying somewhere that was kind of in the middle of nowhere, so Chumphon is already the middle of nowhere, and this is extra out there. and nobody will give us a ride. Nothing. Oh, all they had was motorbikes. That's what it was. But we couldn't go on a motorbike because our bags were too big. We weren't able to carry them on with us. Or maybe we could, but we were just not that skilled. And we had never been on one at this point, so not what we wanted to do.
The story gets really crazy next, and we had finally decided to like just splurge a little and get a nice hotel on the beach with a beautiful pool.
We had been staying in like $7, just whatever it was, the cheapest place. And we're like, no, like, let's do it. We're staying in the middle of nowhere. This is cheaper than it usually is. And it was so beautiful. The pool was amazing. Like, the service was so great. Our room was beautiful.
Yeah, the first day was awesome.
So on the news, they're talking about this tropical storm coming in. And it's supposed to be like really pretty crazy.
27-foot waves.
And I was not about that. That is not where I am from. Washington. She's from Illinois. That does not happen where we're at.
At first we were gonna stay. It seemed like these other like German travelers were feeling pretty confident about sticking around. The local folks didn't seem concerned. However, like all the businesses were boarded up and closed along the roads, so I didn't really feel like that was a great sign.
And I think we had stayed there for an additional day, and then the next day we're like, okay, let's go for sure. And the waves were massive at the beach. All of the stray dogs and animals that were on the beach were all gone. The restaurant was closed. Like, nothing was looking good for us.
Ended up going to this place. It was on like a rural route highway.
Yeah, we'll try
basically a truck stop.
If we can find it for you guys, we'll try and link it. That way you guys can see exactly where it was or what the whole situation was. It was so hilarious.
We end up at our hotel. To be fair, if you're stuck in a storm and you have to stay in a hotel, being at a truck stop isn't the worst thing ever. There is a coffee shop, a KFC, a 7-Eleven, and then some really authentic place with weird meat.
And 7-Eleven, you guys, in Asia is a whole nother level. If you guys don't know, watch some videos on it because it is a lifesaver. They have these cheese toasties and it's the best thing you'll ever eat in your entire life.
We actually bought them out of cheese toasties, which was our breaking point because we were there for like 4 days. And it turns out that 7-Eleven didn't serve booze.
Just that one, they all serve booze. Just that one. It was a really big bummer for us.
Yeah, because we were stuck in a hotel basically watching Netflix while the rain poured like no other.
Yeah, for like multiple days. There was nothing. We went from living on the beach to living in a truck stop.
So the rain started settling down. We had already bought our bus ticket to go from Chumphon downtown back up to Bangkok. So we had to make this bus.
And we were on a budget, you guys. If you guys watched our budget travel tips, we were on a really strict budget. We had no income coming in. We had what we had.
We found out we can't get back. We're like talking to the girls at 7-Eleven. And they're like, no buses come here. No cabs. We could walk 3 hours with our bags up to the hospital and ride a bus from there.
And this was like off of a rural. And this was like off of a rural. I hit it. So this was off of a rural. Is that it? Rural. A rural. I quit. Anyways, we were in the middle of nowhere. You cannot walk on this. There is no sidewalks. You are not meant to walk. Man, go away. I got it. This is so slick, I couldn't pick it up. Well, what was funny, it was very difficult to find a cab. What we ended up doing, we called our old hotel.
Oh, and she called for us.
Because we couldn't find a cab anywhere. Like our receptionist lady, like 7-Eleven ladies, they're like, no, there's no cabs out here. So we literally called our old hotel and tried to get that guy to pick us up again. She's like, well, I'll just call my friend and have him come get you. Which we were staying at something like Jungle Hut, and he went to the Jungle Home. Like, it sounded really similar.
Yeah.
And so we had waited outside with our bags, like, in the rain for like 45 minutes, being like, where are you? And he's like, I'm outside. And we're like, no, we're not outside. Some guy ends up walking up to us, and he was trying to help us find a ride. So he like had talked to a couple locals and was translating for us. And then this Thai police truck popped up, and we were looking at it, we're like, ooh, maybe, but like, who seems scary? They all get out and they hop into 7-Eleven. They're all in uniform, have their guns on their hips. And what ended up happening is the guy talked to the Thai police and told them that we were stranded and we need help getting back. And so the Thai police are like, okay, come on, like, hop in our car. It's about an hour car ride, and one of the guy sitting in front was very, very, very serious, and the other ones were like kind of talking to us a little bit, but there was definitely like a language barrier. And so it really made the car ride, we were really, really nervous. It made the car ride that was 1 hour really feel like it was like 2 hours.
Yeah, it felt like forever.
For so long. But it was really, really cool. Like, how amazing is that?
We're gonna have him drop us off at the train station. we're getting kind of close and we're whispering to each other, like, how cool would it be to get a photo with them?
Yeah, I'd be like, I want one. I don't want to ask though.
So when we get there, ironically, the old serious cop was so giddy and asked us to take a picture
He's like,
with
"Hi,
him. It
do you
was the
mind?
cutest
Take a
thing
photo."
ever.
And we're like, oh my god, we wanted to ask you for a photo. You know, we just ended up being stranded in this kind of bad situation, and it ended up being like one of our most memorable experiences.
We actually made it to our bus the next day, and it was awesome because it was air conditioned and it was wonderful. It was everything we could have asked for. And we made it back to Bangkok. So
yeah, what was that? Like 3 vans, 2 tuk-tuks, a cop car, and a bus.
and a taxi.
And a taxi. Well, that's the end of our crazy Thai story. We have so many more crazy stories we haven't even talked about yet. So if you guys like this video, comment below. Comment below what you guys want to hear next.
And hit the like button and please subscribe. And we'll see you guys next Thursday.